Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're sort of challenging a big idea, one that most of us just accept,
Hmm.
that lying is, purely a mental game, a contest of who has the best poker face.
Right. We all think if you can just control your face, keep your eyes steady, you've pretty much mastered it.
But what if your body just isn't on board? What if your biology is fundamentally rejecting the lie you're trying to tell?
And that is the absolute core of what we're looking at today.
Our source material is this fascinating piece called The Body Snitches, Why You Can't Physically Hide a Lie.
A great title.
It is.
Yeah.
And it claims that we are, at our baseline, biologically wired for honesty. So our mission is to explore how your nervous system literally betrays you when you try to leave that baseline.
And this sets up the main argument right away. Lying isn't just, a psychological thing. It's a huge biological conflict.
Oh, so?
Well, your brain knows the truth, but your mouth is saying something totally different. And your internal system, it flags that as a major threat. It triggers a whole defensive sequence instantly.
I just love that concept, that truth is the default setting. It's the operating system.
Yeah.
And anything else requires this massive, visible effort to maintain. We're not talking about just being nervous. We're talking about deep, primal survival instincts overriding what you consciously want to do.
Exactly. The body is so alarmed by this internal contradiction, it acts as if it's been, physically attacked or cornered.
So let's start there. Let's look at the chaos triggered by the autonomic nervous system, the ANS.
Right. The system that controls everything you don't think about. Breathing, heart rate, all that stuff.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this is the invisible war going on inside you. The source calls it the fight or flight response, and it kicks in before the lie is even finished.
It's that fast. The body treats the lie like it just saw a predator.
So what's the first domino to fall?
The first, and maybe the most measurable thing, is the adrenaline dump. That leads to an immediate spike in heart rate and blood pressure.
Which we all just think of as, oh, I'm nervous.
Right. But the body has a very specific reason for doing it. It's actually preparing for rapid movement.
To do what?
To run. It's pumping blood away from non-essential areas and straight to the big muscle groups. Your legs, your arms.
No way.
Yeah. Your biology is basically screaming, "You're in danger, get out of here," even if you're just sitting at a table talking to someone.
That's incredible. So your body prioritizes escaping the consequence of the lie over actually telling the lie successfully.
Perfectly put. And this whole redistribution of blood, that's what leads to one of the most classic tells.
Cold hands.
Cold hands, exactly. Blood is pulled away from your hands, your feet to protect your core and power your muscles. So if you shake someone's hand and their palm feels cold or clammy,
That's their defense system firing up.
it's a classic involuntary stress signal.
Okay, but hold on. Wouldn't a really good liar, a professional, know this? Couldn't they just, control their breathing to keep their heart rate down?
That's a really important question. The key word here is involuntary. You can try to regulate your breathing, sure, but these are deep, deep ANS reactions. It's less like flipping a light switch and more like trying to stop a freight train.
So even the pros still have these tells.
They do. They might just be micro expressions or very, very subtle physiological shifts. Their brain still registers the conflict. The body just gets a little better at hiding the size of the reaction, not at stopping it completely.
Got it. Okay, let's move on to the dry mouth. Why does lying make people suddenly need a glass of water?
It's that same survival mechanism. When your body thinks it's in mortal danger, it has to conserve energy.
So it shuts down things it doesn't need.
Exactly. And the whole digestive system, which includes making saliva, is pretty high on that shutdown list. If you're about to sprint away from a tiger, your body isn't worried about digesting lunch.
So if you see someone clearing their throat a lot, or you hear that specific, sticky clicking sound when they talk,
Yeah, that clicking sound.
because they keep licking their lips, they're trying to manually re-moisten a system that biology has just forced into a drought.
Precisely. And the silent version of this panic is the sweat, specifically on the fingertips and the palms.
You can't see it, but it changes the electrical conductivity of the skin.
You've got it.
And this is huge, because that is exactly what a polygraph measures, right?
That's it. The source says this is exactly what a polygraph measures. It's the electrodermal activity.
So the polygraph isn't a lie detector, it's a stress detector.
It's a conflict detector. It measures the intensity of the physical panic caused by the clash between what the brain knows is true and what the mouth is saying. It's measuring the stress of that disconnect.
It's just amazing that the body's attempt to survive is what gives the lie away.
The conscious mind tries to deceive, but the biological hardware just defaults to sounding the alarm.
So if that was the invisible internal war, let's move on to the stuff you can actually see.
Section 2.
Yeah.
The visible betrayals. This is what happens when the stress just becomes too much to hold in. The source actually breaks it down into two types: leakage and pacifiers.
Okay, leakage, what's that?
Leakage is when the truth, or the stress of hiding it, leaks out in physical actions. The brain is working so hard to invent the lie that it loses fine motor control.
The body is basically trying to tattle on you.
It is. The first example is the mouth guard. It's that subconscious move to cover your mouth, or maybe rub your nose, touch your lips right after saying something.
It's like the hand is literally trying to stop the words.
Yes, a self-censoring reflex. Then you have something called the turtle effect.
The turtle effect.
Yeah. If you watch someone under a lot of pressure, you might see their shoulders kind of creep up towards their ears.
Like they're pulling their head to a shell.
It's exactly that. It's a primitive reflex to protect your neck, the most vulnerable spot from an attack. The situation feels threatening, so the body goes into a defensive posture.
Okay, this next one I found totally fascinating. The exit strategy. We're all told to look someone in the eyes to see if they're lying.
Right.
But the source says look somewhere else.
This is a great takeaway. A practiced liar can force eye contact, but they probably aren't thinking about their feet.
Their feet.
Their feet. Check their feet. The source says they will often point toward the door or away from you.
Wow.
It's a completely subconscious signal that they desperately want to escape the conversation. The feet are already activating the flight part of fight or flight.
So the feet are the most honest part of the body.
In a way, yeah. They're focused on escape, not on social niceties. And the last one under leakage is eye blocking.
What's that?
Rapid blinking, rubbing the eyes, or closing your eyes for just a second too long. It's a subconscious attempt to literally block out the person you're deceiving. The mental strain is just too much.
So leakage is the body trying to tell the truth. What about the other category, pacifiers?
Pacifiers are about self-soothing. Lying is physically exhausting, it's stressful, so the body does these little things to try and calm itself down.
Okay, like what?
A very common one is neck touching. You'll see someone touch that little dimple at the base of their throat, or maybe fiddle with their collar or a necklace.
And the source says that does two things.
It does. One, like the turtle effect, it's protecting a vulnerable area. But two, touching that spot can actually stimulate nerves that help lower your heart rate. It's a tension release.
It's a little biological reset button. What about leg cleansing?
That's when you see someone rubbing their palms down their thighs.
Right.
The source says it's for two reasons. One, to literally wipe off the palm sweat we talked about, and two, to release all that pent-up nervous energy.
And my personal favorite, because it just makes so much sense emotionally, the anchors.
Ah, yes. This is when someone feels unstable, so they seek physical stability.
What does that look like?
They might lock their ankles around the legs of their chair, or grip the armrests so tight their knuckles go white.
Because they feel unstable on the inside.
So they physically try to hold on to something solid, to ground themselves, because their mental reality has become so shaky.
So every single twitch, every rub, every grip is just a physical echo of that internal war. The body is fighting its own lie.
Which brings us to the big takeaway. Let's synthesize all this. What does it all mean for how you understand people?
Well, the biggest thing seems to be the sheer energy cost of deception. The source really hammers this home. Truth is our baseline setting.
It requires zero energy to maintain.
Exactly. But lying has a huge physical cost. You're not just fooling someone, you're basically traumatizing your own body.
Your system has to spike adrenaline, reroute blood, manage all this nervous energy. It is exhausting.
Which explains why keeping up a lie for a long time leads to burnout. You're just physically drained.
And the final profound conclusion from the source is that the body doesn't know how to lie. It only knows how to survive.
So all these signals, the cold hands, the dry mouth, the anchored feet, they aren't necessarily signs of guilt.
No, they're signs of a deep biological struggle. It's the body fighting to get back to equilibrium because of that internal contradiction.
So how do we use this? For you, the learner, someone rubbing their eye doesn't automatically mean they're lying. They could just have an itchy eye.
That is the most important point.
Yeah.
You never, ever look for a single tell.
It's about the pattern.
It's about the cluster. It's about observing a change from their normal baseline.
So if you know someone's usually a smooth talker, but then suddenly they've got that sticky, clicking mouth,
And they start touching their throat.
and you glance down and their feet are aimed at the door.
Precisely. That cluster of signals tells you their internal system is under serious stress. You're reading the physiological reality that's happening underneath the words.
You're not just judging their words, you're observing a biological battle for survival.
It's a total shift in perspective.
So let's quickly recap the most memorable tells we covered. Remember the turtle effect, those shoulders creeping up.
Look for the exit strategy, those honest feet pointing to an escape route.
And check for the anchors, the white knuckle grips or locked ankles that show someone feels completely unstable.
It all just reveals how much our biology is aligned with honesty. Lying is literally a choice to destabilize your own system.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to take away. If telling a small lie triggers the same autonomic response as, say, being physically attacked, what is the silent physical toll that habitual deception, big or small, takes on our long-term wellness? What does it really mean that our deepest survival instincts are at war with dishonesty?
It suggests that integrity might not just be a moral choice, it could be a biological requirement for peace and stability.
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into why your body is, well, a really terrible liar.
Until next time.